everyone, it's Diabetic Danica, and it's time for another Snapchat Q&A. So I went on my Snapchat, DMarie is me, to ask you to ask me some questions. And for some reason, Snapchat was being so weird. Like, I asked for the questions last night, and I'm recording it today, this morning. I guess it's not morning anymore, but I'm recording it today, and it has not been 24 hours or anything like that craziness, but it started to open up my snaps for me, and so it was looking like videos that people had sent to me that I had opened them, but I hadn't. And if you don't know, on Snapchat you can't replay stuff. So a couple people I had to ask for the video again, but they were super nice and sent it. So yeah, finally got it all figured out, and I think I have all the questions I originally had. So let's get started. Of course my phone is dying, so it's plugged in, but hopefully you'll still be able to see and hear and everything. So I'm gonna crank up the volume, make sure we can all hear. And Empress is gonna lay on this arm, of course, the one that I am gonna show you with. So, the first question is from Lauren789.
How old were you when you got your first pump, and what made you choose the Animus?
Awesome. So she said, how old was I when I got my first pump? I was, let's see, I was on shots for 3 years, and I was diagnosed at 11, so I was 14. It was the end of 8th grade, so I probably had just turned 15 when I got my first pump. As for what made me choose the Animus, I basically looked at all the pumps that were on the market at this time, and I compared them all. I found this awesome spreadsheet that showed the different ones and their different specifications. And I really liked Animus because it was waterproof and other pumps at the time weren't. I also liked that it had the smallest basal increment possible at the time, 0.025 units. And then I kept with them each year just because they still, in my mind, had the best features to offer. And then I was waiting for the Dexcom G4 to be approved in the pump, and that happened and I was super happy. But now we're already on the Dexcom G5 and, you know, it's not a pump anymore, and so it's kind of like, But they were the first pump to get the Dexcom in the pump. But yeah, now I don't know what I'm going to do when my warranty expires because I'm really considering trying the T-Slim. I feel like they have a lot of good features, and yeah, a change would be nice. Not that I don't love Animus, they're great. I also didn't really want the OmniPod just because it seemed like it was so big, like the actual thing on your body is so big, and I would rather put the actual pump part just in my pocket and have a small side on my body compared to like a big, basically pump stuck to my body. But that's just my personal opinion. They've gotten a lot smaller now. I was also a little bit worried that I would lose the PDM, which is what you bolus from. It's like a little, kind of looks like a glucose meter. I think it is a glucose meter as well. So anyway, I ended up with the Animus and I've loved it. Empress is sleeping on the wrong arm. I cannot open these snaps with you on this arm, girl. Okay, the next one is from, I don't know how to say your name, Imanonau. Imanonau.
What CGM do you use?
What CGM do I use? I use the Dexcom G5 on my phone. The next question is from Maya Al-Haddad, and I totally recognize your name. You have asked me questions before, and you're the sweetest.
Hi Danica, I was wondering how you bolus for popcorn at the movie theater since you're eating it through a hood. It has a lot of fat.
Oh, how do I bolus for popcorn at a movie theater? I'm actually not a big popcorn person. Every once in a while I have it, and I remember when I was first diagnosed learning that it was actually a pretty low carb snack. I don't know about movie theater popcorn, but I know for like a bag at home I could have a really good size amount that was only 15 grams of carb. But yeah, so it's really not that high in carb, which is nice. But again, I'm not really a big popcorn eater, so I don't really know. I would just bolus like probably for 15 grams at the beginning and just see how it went, and I don't have enough experience with it, honestly. I'm also a cheapskate and I don't like to pay money for food at the movie theater, so I'm not helpful with this, I'm sorry. But me personally, I'd probably, yeah, just bolus a small amount at the beginning and see if I'm eating that much, and then if I am, bolus some more. But all right, the next question is from Wit with 3 sunflowers after her name. That is adorable.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
And my question is, do you prefer the pump or the OmniPod? Which one do you feel makes you more free?
There we go. There's an OmniPod question. That's interesting. Which one makes you feel more free? I wonder, I've never used the OmniPod, but I do know a lot about it. So that's an interesting question though, more free. Because I've already talked about just now why I didn't get the OmniPod basically. But I don't know. I wonder if people on the OmniPod feel more free without a tube. I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, well, why don't you have the OmniPod? It's tubeless. Doesn't that make it better? And I personally don't think for me it would make it better, but I could see why with younger kids and stuff like that, it would be better because then they can just have the pod on their body and then mom or dad can be bolusing from the PDM. So I see why people have it, but I just personally wouldn't want it just for the fact that it's a big old pod on my body and I like the small site. And honestly, you forget that the pump is even on you. Like, you just put it in your pocket and it's like you're carrying a phone or something. You don't notice it. It's not that big of a deal. And the amount of times that I get it snagged on something, the tubing, is so minuscule. It happens, I mean, I don't even know if I can give you a range. Every couple years, probably, maybe every year, like once, it snags on something. And usually it doesn't even get ripped out. So it's not that big of a deal to me. All right, our next question is from Mia Collier.
Okay, don't mind my hair because I just woke up, but what do you like better, the constant glucose monitor or your pump?
Oh, no, that is too hard. Oh, that's a mean question. Oh gosh. It's crazy because I've had the pump, like I said, since I was in 8th grade, which is now going on like, oh gosh, 14, 30, probably 11 years I've had the pump. And I've only had the CGM for, math, probably 5 years. So I'm inclined to say that the pump would be the one that I would choose. It would be, I guess, but I really can't see myself not having the CGM just because the continuous glucose monitor is amazing and has helped me so, so much. So really, to me, they're a package deal. I need them both. But if I had to pick one, oh, it's so hard because now I'm imagining myself giving shots and having a CGM to help me, but otherwise I would just have a pump. I think it's still a pump. I would keep the pump. And I would just go back to checking my blood sugar a million times a day, so. I just can't do shots, you guys. It's not cool to me. It's so much more work and hassle and pokes, and I'm just not into it. The next question is from ZimmyGirl2911.
How do you handle going low and working as a nurse? I'm really interested to hear.
How do I handle going low at work as a nurse? Well, back to the CGM thing. Having a CGM helps a lot because it can let me know when I'm starting to get low. Like, you know, it alarms whatever you set it at, and I can check it during the day and see if I'm trending down. So hopefully with the use of that and checking my blood sugar and everything, I can prevent lows, which is awesome. But when they do happen, I usually have a moment. Like, I just go back to the break room, I grab fruit snacks or I grab a juice and I just down it. Like, I can eat a whole pack of fruit snacks in one go. I just shove it all in my mouth and a juice is really quick too. You just down it. You get really used to it, honestly. And then, I mean, most of the time my lows, I can still do things when I'm low. Obviously, if it was horrible and like really bad, I would let my other nurse know and I would go in the back and sit down for a while. But most of the time it's okay and I'm just sitting out at the computer or maybe doing a simple task and it's fine and I just let my carbs hit me. If I see that my blood sugar is headed low and I'm pretty busy, I will turn off my pump. Not fully, obviously. I'll turn off the basal. So I'll do negative 100% basal for like 30 minutes just so that I'm not getting any insulin, making my low worse. And then hopefully I can wrap up whatever I'm doing and go grab a snack. So that's kind of how I do it. So far, so good. Okay, the next question is from Andy Bug 2.
How do you control your diabetes in the summer? I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too. How do I control my diabetes in the summer? I have a whole video called Summer and Diabetes if you want to check it out. There's actually 2 parts to it. But I would say the thing that's tricky about the summer is you're probably doing a lot more outdoor activities, so you're a lot more active. And the heat can really, at least for me, lower my blood sugar. I think it just increases your uptake of insulin and just makes you so really you just have to be on top of it. You have to be checking your blood sugar, using your CGM if you have one, having snacks on hand, giving your insulin on time, all that stuff that you should be doing anyway. Just be really diligent about it and you'll be great. I know for me, now that the weather has perked up, I have been doing way more running, and after I picked up running again, like full on, I have been just like low a lot. All day I've noticed that I'm trending low, so my CGM will be like, oh, you went low, and then I'll go up, and then I went low again, and then I went up from the carbs, and then I go low again. So I can tell that my basal, my background insulin, is too high because I'm going low, and the only time I'm not going low is when I'm eating. So I lowered all my basal rates because I know that this is like how it's gonna be for a little bit, me being more active, and it's worked, and I'm going low less, and it's awesome. So definitely keep an eye on your blood sugars, analyze your trends, and of course you can always talk to your diabetes team and get their help if you're not used to adjusting insulin doses and all that stuff. I love summer, by the way, it's my favorite season. Okay, the next question is from Hannah Palmer.
Hey, my question is, what's your favorite sweet or drink to have when your sugars are low? Mine's fruit pastels. Bye.
Fruit what?
Mine's fruit pastels. Bye.
I don't know what that is. Fruit pastels? Fruit pastels? I don't know, but they sound amazing. So favorite and what I have most often is not the same thing for me. What I have most often are fruit snacks, and that's just because they're so portable. They don't really go bad. I mean, eventually they get kind of hard, but they don't really go bad, they don't really melt, they're just easy to carry, and like I said, I can take them all in one go and just chew and be done. Otherwise, also juice is my go-to just because it's so fast and I feel so much safer because it hits my bloodstream so quickly. But juice is really hard to carry, so when I'm out and about, I don't usually have juice on me. As for my favorite way to treat a low, obviously anything delicious is my favorite way because when my blood sugar's low, everything tastes like 1,000 times better. And so if there's some chocolate cookies, if there's some Nutella, if there's some cake, like anything like that, which is already so delicious, is like amplified when I'm low because my body is like craving the sugar. So anything chocolate, basically, which is not the best for a low because, you know, it's got like other stuff in there making it slower, like your body's gonna take it up slower, but for me it works as long as I'm not too low. So I love chocolate, but juice is the quickest for sure. I am not a glucose tabs girl. I can't do it. They gross me out. Okay, the last video question is from Emmalou1043.
Hi Danica, I have triple as well, and I was just wondering how you feel about not having to check your blood sugar and just use a CGM.
So she was asking about how I feel about not having to check blood sugar but just use a CGM. And this is partially true. If you don't know, Dexcom recently, well pretty recently, approved the Dexcom for treatment decisions. So that means that in certain circumstances, you can now, it's FDA approved, to bolus off of the number on your CGM, to treat a low off the number on your CGM. Whereas before you had to double check with a finger stick and make sure that's what your number actually was. There's a couple stipulations with this. I actually made a whole video about using the Dexcom for treatment decisions on Dexcom's YouTube channel. So I'm definitely gonna refer you to that. I will put the link to that video down below so you can check it out, and it kind of goes through when it's approved for treatment decisions and all that. But anyway, all that to say, it is so exciting because to me, when I first heard about continuous glucose monitoring and I heard that you still had to check your blood sugar the exact same amount of times as when you didn't have it, I was like, well, get back to me when it replaces finger sticks because what's the point? I don't want something else on my body and still have to check my blood sugar. It doesn't make any sense. There's another snap. Obviously, eventually I came around and I was like, actually I could see why seeing like trends in blood sugar and alarming when you're high and low and seeing what's happening in between your numbers is super helpful. But at the same time, obviously we want it to replace finger sticks. So I thought it was amazing that it was finally approved by the FDA for this purpose. It definitely saves a lot of pokes on your fingers, it saves a lot of test strips, and it just makes life a lot easier. So I am so excited that it was approved for treatment decisions. I still don't feel like I can always 100% trust it because it's not perfect. It's reading your glucose off of your interstitial fluid, which is the fluid in between your cells, and not from your actual blood. So it can kind of vary from blood sugar, but it has gotten so much more accurate over the years, and I love how close we are to like totally eliminating finger sticks. So right now you just have to calibrate the Dexcom twice a day, every 12 hours. All right, so those are all the questions I'm going to answer today. Thank you guys so much for sending them in. I really appreciate it. And double thank you if you had to resend it because Snapchat randomly decided to open and watch it without me knowing. I don't know. I love doing these types of videos because I like to see your faces and like hear your voice, even if it's through a filter, and hear your questions. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make new videos about diabetes all the time, and leave me a comment down below. You can say whatever you want. That's what comments are for. Okay, I'm gonna go, but I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.